you hear Mr. Depp?
About 6 years ago.
About 6 years ago,
Miss Heard
Miss Heard
made a series of
some
quite heinous and disturbing
acts
statements about
me
me that
were not based in
any species of truth. Nothing of the kind had ever happened. There were arguments and things of that nature.
Never did I
never
myself reach the point
Have I myself ever reached the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I
ever
struck any woman in my life. I felt it my responsibility to stand up not only for myself in this instance, but stand up for my children and for the truth. My goal is the truth.
My goal is the truth.
My goal is the truth.
Let's look at Defendant's Exhibit 43A. You took this picture of Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
Yes,
I wanted him to get help, and Johnny's surrounded by enablers who clean up
Objection,
after him.
Your Honor. I'm going to move to strike everything after yes, that she took the picture.
Sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. This isn't a very flattering picture of Mr. Depp, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
You wouldn't agree.
And you wouldn't agree with me, or you would agree with me that this is an embarrassing scene, right?
Yes. I think it's a part of getting help.
It's a part of getting
Looking
help.
at it.
Is
Seeing it.
Looking at it. Seeing it.
But
You sent this picture to one of your friends, didn't you?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
And you wrote,
"This is what I've
quote,
been dealing with."
"This is what I've
Did I
been
read that
dealing
right?
with," end
You
quote.
did read that right.
Did I read that right?
And
That's
this is you
correct.
protecting.
And this
Mr.
is you
Depp.
protecting Mr. Depp.
No.
That is me.
This is me getting support from my best friend.
I also.
I need
As
support
we were
too.
all growing up, there was always those kids that say, let's party. Let's go party. I want to party. I've never used the word party in my life. I've never taken any substance for a party. I've taken these substances over the years, on and off, to numb myself of the ghosts from my youth.
Still with me, and from
So, yeah,
so
I needed,
I needed it.
they were everything.
I don't believe it's routine for actors to be given their entire script through earpieces. I find that hard to believe.
What you found hard to believe, sir, was that every line of a script was being pumped through an earpiece. Where did you ever get the idea that that occurred?
Where did you ever get
From the court evidence, from the court review that I read.
So you know that it was music.
And the court review,
Oh.
the court evidence, that's where I got it from.
It's music, not his lines.
It was
Okay.
music, not
Did you
advice.
know
Yeah.
that Marlon Brando
And,
used an earpiece on the set of movies?
You know whether Marlon
Isn't he
Brando
dead?
used an
So
earpiece?
the answer is no.
Whether-
He does
is
not
he
use
dead?
one now.
Yeah. So the answer is no, he does not use one.
He was hitting me in 2012. He just took a break in the middle.
You testified that Mr. Depp was smashing things around in 2012, and that he was, quote, in and out of sobriety.
That is correct.
Yes.
So it was during these violent acts in 2012 that you decided to gift Mr. Depp a knife.
I gave him a knife.
I think
I
for
believe as a
present,
birthday
early in our
present,
relationship, I believe it was around 2012.
early on in our
but I'm not
relationship.
certain.
I think it was around 2012, but I'm not certain.
We've seen
I
a
think we
picture
should bring out the
of this
real thing.
knife, but I think it's important that we bring out the real thing.
That's
This
the knife
is
you
the
gave to
knife
the man
that you
who was
gifted the
hitting you,
man
right,
who was
Mr.
hitting you, right?
Well, I didn't think he was going to stab me. with it.
So one of the hallmark characteristics of histrionic personality disorder is sort of an overly dramatic presentation. We call this impressionistic speech. It tends to be very flowery. It uses a lot of descriptive words like magical, wonderful. And it can go on for quite some time, and yet it really lacks any substance.
Could you give an example?
She would suddenly be one way, And then she would become very animated or very sad. And when people are displaying these emotions with this personality disorder, if there's a sense of shallowness to it, people who are observing them will feel like it's play acting.
You went to Mr. Depp's home for dinner and drinks before you were hired as expert in this case, correct?
That's not quite right. I was interviewed at Mr. Depp's home by his legal team.
And that dinner lasted approximately 3 to 4 hours, correct?
Yes, the interview.
And drinks were served.
Yes, dinner and I believe drinks were served.
This was before you were hired as an expert, correct?
Yes, this was an interview so they could make an informed decision as to whether or not to retain me.
Don't you find it odd that you're being interviewed by Mr. Depp to decide whether you're going to testify adversely against Amber Heard?
I was interviewed by the legal team.
And Mr. Depp was present, and he was serving dinner and drinks.
He was
I
not
received
serving
some
dinner and
news
drinks.
that was
as
absurd and grotesque and cruel. I was shown a picture of what the problem was, and it was a photograph of the bed, our bed. And on my side of the bed was human fecal matter. So I understood why it was not a good time to go down there. My initial response was, I laughed. It was so outside. It was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh. So I did not go down there.
You committed domestic violence against Miss Van Ree during your relationship, didn't you?
No, I did not.
You assaulted her at a Seattle airport in 2009, didn't you?
No, I did not.
It was covered in the press. Isn't that true?
It was planted in the press by Johnny's team 2 days after I filed a temporary
Testified that
restraining
you
order.
told Dr. Kipper that Miss Heard, in fact, had been responsible for your finger injury. Do you remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
And in this text message from you to Dr. Kipper's nurse in October 2015, you said, and I'll just try to read the relevant parts. Sent huge text to Kipper, no response. Odd duck, old Kipper. This is the second time he's held off giving me my meds, trying to blackmail me into seeing him. The first time I had just chopped my finger off. In subsequent communications, you referenced more than once that you had chopped off your own fingers.
I think the key word is chopped off my own finger.
When you say to someone,
I've just chopped my finger off, that's just going straight to the facts. You don't get into. She did this. I did that. This, that. My finger's been chopped off.
Nothing happened this morning with that?
You even here?
No.
Nothing happened to you this morning.
I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice. We weren't even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Something happened to you this morning?
This morning?
I don't think so.
You want to see crazy? I'll show you crazy. Here's your crazy. Oh, you're crazy. Are you crazy?
Did you drink this whole thing this morning?
You got this going?
No, I just started it.
Oh, really? Really?
Got this going? Oh, really?